So I want to bring in now a great friend of this program, Republican Congressman from Florida and member of the GOP House Judiciary Committee. Matt Gaetz is back with us. Congressman, great to have you back on.
It's good to be with you, and it's obvious there's no crime in this Manhattan prosecution. You have a candidate who's concerned about media coverage of what could be of great interest to people, and then you have Cohen and David Pecker doing what Michael Cohen and David Pecker had done for quite some time regarding President Trump and even other celebrities. Pecker gave testimony. He had other types of arrangements with celebrities where he would control the flow of information about them in exchange for this type of access journalism and checkbook journalism that they were pushing at the National Enquirer. And so you have to ask yourself, why is this happening? And that's the core of the House Judiciary Report. This is not a case of a crime occurring and then law enforcement going to its natural end. The whole goal was to get Trump. You showed the genesis of that in Alvin Bragg's campaign. This was what he was running on. But also remember the name Mark Pomerantz. This is someone who wasn't even a government lawyer. He was a private lawyer, and he was brought in with the specific purpose of going after President Trump and weaving together some sort of criminal conspiracy. When, I mean, Grant, you've covered politics a lot of time. If we have to throw every presidential candidate in jail who was trying to shape the news coverage of their campaign, we probably need a lot more jail cells. And here it's obviously a flawed application of the law against President Trump and a raw act of partisan politics by Alvin Bragg.
All right, let me play a soundbite. This is going back to a little flashback of this Mark Pomerantz, because I want you to describe exactly what his goal was when he was in the DA's office. Roll clip 5 for me for the guys behind the glass, and then I'll get your response on the backside.
He paid off the loans. What's the crime?
The law is crystal clear that you don't have to prove that a loan wasn't repaid or that a bank lost money. It's still a crime to lie to a bank to get a loan.
Never been prosecuted before like this in New York history. A reasonable person would think that you're nuts right there saying this, but what is that guy about, Matt? What did your investigation uncover about him?
We asked him questions that he refused to answer. When we asked Mark Pomerantz, that very person, whether or not he broke the law in the investigation of President Trump, he took the fifth. When we asked him whether or not he violated President Trump's rights, whether or not he destroyed evidence, he took the fifth time and again. Now, innocent people take the fifth, I guess, all the time. But in this case, Mark Pomerantz was so eager to get in the case just to get Trump. And then after he wrote a 300-page self-aggrandizing book about everything they did to try to bend the law to go after the former president, well, then he wasn't so interested in sharing that with House investigators. And I think that deviation shows that this really is collapsing on itself. They know they can't beat Trump in the ballot box, and so now they're trying to beat him in the witness box. But it has got to really be frustrating to Jack Smith and Fonnie Willis that this absolutely laughable case is going first when a lot of legal scholars and now even a House committee report showcases the very political origin and then how it was executed so out of the ordinary. Like, you don't go and draft in private lawyers to come and go after politicians you don't like. That is the type of thing you'd see in a third world country, and now, unfortunately, Manhattan.
All right, I'm going to ask you on a personal level. I'm going to use a term that you've used to self-describe yourself. Matt, you're just a country lawyer from North Florida, but you've been in Washington a long time. Now you dig into what's going on in New York. Have you ever thought you'd see something like this?
No, it is an unusual thing, and they brag about it. That's what's weird. Like, Pomerantz writes this book where he says, oh, Alvin Bragg brought me in, and we were the legal eagles. I've never seen anything like that. Usually, the prosecutors are getting information from law enforcement and from some victim that's complained. In that clip you just showed, they're trying to act as though Trump did something bad to a bank and defrauded a bank, when even the bank, even the financial institutions were saying they never lost any money with Trump. Everything was repaid, and this was on the level. So they're trying to utilize jurisdiction and venue. And you gave some credit to New Yorkers earlier. I hope it's well deserved. My concern is that that place is so anti-Trump, and that jury could be so anti-Trump, they could convict him of abducting the Lindbergh baby, killing Jimmy Hoffa, and being the shooter on the grassy knoll all at once. And that's not the way our justice system is supposed to work. But from a pure fact and law standpoint, this is a total fiction, and you don't have to pull back many layers of the onion to see that it's all driven by this political objective.
Yeah, I think you're spot on that for sure. Before I let you go on this Friday evening, Matt Gaetz, you were one of the, you were the guy who uncovered this situation in Niger. You talked about it on this program. We've got 1,000 U.S. troops. They're virtually being held hostage. Can't get food, can't get water, can't get medications. I watched you grilling Defense Department top brass. Is there any update you can give us on this? I know the Biden administration said they're going to pull troops out, but last I read, there was no timeline on this. What can you tell us about our troops in Niger?
I'll be meeting with the Nigerian government such that there is one in the coming days in Washington to ensure that the food and water and medicine is provided during the retrograde. But we're going to have a withdrawal. Frankly, it was just hours after you and my discussion on air that the Biden administration said that they would be bringing our troops out of Niger. But we want it to be done right. We don't want another Afghanistan type situation. We don't want the billion-dollar base that we built there, just, the keys handed over to the Russians, who are going to be the preferred security partner. And so we've got to get the retrograde done. We got to get our folks out. But the other new development is we've seen a similar situation occur in the African country of Chad. The Biden administration had to say that we had to get our troops out of Chad because the situation on the ground there was becoming so bad. So throughout Africa, throughout the world, the Biden administration has had blunder after blunder. I'm looking forward to getting back to the Trump days where it was prosperity at home and peace abroad.
Matt, real quick, I think what troubles me, maybe not the most, because I'm worried most about our men and women in uniform. If you didn't expose this, would they have just been stuck there for who knows how long?
That's my concern. Now, fortunately, there were some whistleblowers who were reaching out to more and more members of Congress. But when we filed our report, when we talked about it on your program, the thing is, Lloyd Austin is going to be testifying next week before the House Judiciary Committee. And I don't think that he wanted to answer my questions about the well-being of our troops and why it was being subjugated so that Blinken and Austin and Biden could avoid political embarrassment. The well-being of our troops should not be subject to politics or people's embarrassment. We have to take care of them first and foremost. That's what I'll keep doing on the House Armed Services Committee.
Gosh, you would think that would be the most bipartisan issue ever. But of course, nothing surprises me anymore. Republican Congressman from Florida, Matt Gaetz, always great to see you. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you, my friend.